The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
When we last left off, we had big news from the dad front, where kid number 1, the older one, was potty trained.
Yes.
So good news, that's
Good
all.
moment.
That's fine. That's going great.
Yep, that's fine. You moved on. That's it.
Just to be clear, I don't want to set that up wrongly. And the best part, like it's like a little bit of Christmas every single time, where you're reminded every day. We're like, okay, maybe he'll have an accident, but he doesn't, and it's so good,
Okay.
and he's so well trained. It goes great, unbelievably. But perhaps we have bigger news this week.
Okay.
Perhaps at a bigger event. You'll have to tell me. I'm pretty stoked about it. I can't believe this has happened already. We were going through a toy store, and there happened to be a Nintendo Switch set up. I didn't buy a Nintendo Switch, but we're walking past a Nintendo Switch. Mario Kart up on the screen. My son picked it up, started to control it. My son has finished his first round of Mario Kart. An entire race by himself. Now, what, I ask you, gaming dads, is the bigger news of having a kid who's potty trained or a kid who now seems to be able to play Mario Kart?
I think Mario Kart's more of a skill that's going to serve him lifelong.
Like, theoretically, he could probably make a living off of that somehow, right? Esports coming up.
You're right,
Like,
exactly.
See, not pooping yourself is just table stakes. Like, that's expected.
It's just in manners, really. Like, you could just, go through life. That's it. But Mario Kart, that's awesome. That's an amazing achievement.
Man, like, it was crazy to see. It was wild though to see him figure out the gas, and it was kind of cool how on the Switch how they figured out the gas, where it's like the right stick if you press up is go.
Yes. Yep.
That that was a really nice touch, and then like the left is steering. So I mean, he wasn't very good at it, but just he kind of got those two things, and it was just off to the races. And he was, again, not a great racer, but like there was a turn and he would turn into it. He'd kind of go around, like he was transfixed the entire time. Like it was, man, it was.
You need a Switch now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the place that I got to, right? So not just with all the games that I have, can't do the Switch yet. Like I got to let that sit for a little while. But I come back and I'm like, I want to kind of capitalize on this. This is interesting, right? This could be something that he's into. But what's a PC and PS4 player to do as far as like a kart racer, right? And then the problem is too, like Nintendo sets such a high bar. Like Mario Kart is so above and beyond.
Yeah,
anything
polished,
kid-friendly, easy to pick up. Mm-hmm. Like what else is there? And
what's your alternative? I'm not sure what your alternative would be.
Sonic Sega All-Star Racing. All right.
Okay. Wow. And he hasn't walked away in tears yet, or
he hasn't played it. And I'll say like there's two that I could have chosen, and this was on Steam. And the good news being like it was on I got it at 75% off, so I bought it for like $4.
Okay.
There's two options. One was like a transform version, and this one. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I've never really followed these either. But
edition, yeah.
I was watching the trailer, and like you go through some parts, and you'll transform into like a ball at some point. Then you go to another part, you'll transform into a boat for a while, and then you'll transform back into the car. Wow. It's just like that seems like I know Mario Kart has like the glider, but it felt so organic as part of it. This felt just out to lunch. Like it's like this is too much. Let's take it easy.
Yeah. Start with the base, work our way up.
Yeah, so I've bought that. I'm curious to try to get him in front of it and see, like, all right, like, where does this go? Like, how?
Yeah.
Are we here? Are we gonna start doing this now? Does a dream begin?
This is when it starts. Remember this day. You need to mark it.
Now, can you remember the first game that your kid had started to play with you, or like what you'd introduced him to? Not so much introduced, like he had the controller, he played it.
I think I want to say Mario Kart, but it's I believe it was Mario. It was just a regular Mario, Super Mario World, I think. I remember getting the retro games and just showing him that. Just something simple. But it wasn't as kid-friendly as a Mario Kart where you have, like, you don't really die in that racer. Where Mario, you die all the time. And then I had to earn him more lives or continue. But Mario Kart's a great start, and to go into there and then kind of transition off into whatever you kind of want. That's a cool. I don't know. That's a cool start. Again, you'll need a Switch. I'm just saying. You might as well.
Man, I'm just in the throw. I'm looking through Steam and PS4 trying to find some sort of kart racer, not finding it, and obviously anything I find is nowhere near the quality. And like that was such a test to not buy a Switch, just especially like I set it up. I have the 2 little Joy-Cons. I can play with them.
Yes, absolutely.
Guaranteed quality. Like the thing is going to be so amazing to play. I just can't have another system right now, man. I got a PSVR. I got a huge backlog. I can't do it, not yet.
It's for your kid, really. It's for him to, you need to give him the best tools. It's like school. You go in, you give him the best calculator so he can
it's
progress faster than the other kids.
Yeah, it's totally akin to a calculator. You're right.
Right. It's perfect. Right. You need to give him the tools he needs, the equipment.
Yeah, I'm sure it has a calculator app eventually that, you could take to school. Man, sorry, I know you had a really great Switch story too, but I wanted to just a really quick other sidebar before we get into it, where it's the type of thing we all, as dads, we all know. Like there's enough reports on it and studies, articles. We've seen this type of thing, but the scenario that happened to us is at night. We had an issue with the local library where we weren't able to get books for a little while, which resulted in all the books that we have he read it to death. He was just bored of all the books that we currently had. All right, so we're kind of in this weird spot at night where I can't get him into any of the books that he likes. So the trick that I thought I was doing was I started to show him people reading books on YouTube. All right. So, So it's YouTube video, but it's of like people reading books, like and straight up actual like paper, and they're turning it and they're reading through the story. It felt like
here you go, kid, and then leave.
And I just go, and I assume at some point he falls asleep.
Done with you. No, I get you.
The house, it was great. So, but I gave him that. It was kind of working okay, but I'll say that it was taking a long time for him to get to sleep afterwards.
Yeah.
At that time, I just assumed it was kind of like a phase. I assumed, it's just ramped. He's not getting enough exercise during the day. I'll have to try and increase it or something. The library issue resolves. We're able to get some new, fresh books. He's interested in them again. He fell asleep so much faster.
Really? Yeah.
So much faster. And even if it wasn't necessarily fast, it was certainly calmer. Like an absolutely noticeable difference. So it was just weird to have such a flat-out example of screen time and its effect on bedtime. It's the type of thing, we've read this to death. Like, we've all seen those reports. Like, screen time and blue light and doing it right before affects your sleep, blah, 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 blah. But just to have it in front of me, like, after those kind of weeks and seeing it so clearly, like, it was like, damn, man, like, that's true.
Yeah, I know. We've had the same kind of situation where part of my oldest reading is actually online, so the teacher can follow along how he's doing, and it's on the iPad, so it gives the feedback is awesome, where he's stumbling, where he's picking up, where he's progressing. But he has to do 20 minutes a night or an hour through at the end of the week by school. So we said, well, by the time he gets supper done and he kind of chills out and does whatever he wants to do, goes up, gets ready for bed, he has to do this reading on the iPad. And exactly like you said, it keeps him up for another hour. It's just when he's done his 20 minutes, it's just he hasn't had that calm down time. So yeah, I totally believe it. And even with my own smartphone in bed, if I'm reading something on my smartphone, I find it hard to sleep. If I'm reading a book, pass out no problem. I'm on that couch, no problem.
Yeah. No, it's just like, man, that's weird that school I had no idea school was doing that type of thing. So they force your kids they have to read something on a screen a certain amount before they go back to school as homework.
Yeah, it's just so that they can, because there's so many kids in the class now that the teacher can't have that one-on-one time, but they can get the data back from like the apples to apples comparison on software, right?
That sounds terrible.
And he has to read books. So like he has to read regular stories that he picks out.
Okay.
Like page books, whatever. It can be fiction, nonfiction, doesn't matter. But then he also has to do this online version to help guide him on where he needs to be. This is where we're going, Trevor. The future.
How do you feel about that, though? That seems a bit weird, right?
I just don't think it's the way we grew up. Like they are, I don't know.
Back in my day,
we wrote our own books. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It just seems like they're born with screen time in them almost, and this is just another tool in the toolbox. It's not going to be the be all end all read on a screen forever, but with like Kobos and Kindles and all sorts of other e-readers, this I think just helps them to read, and if you make it fun, they're going to read more. So maybe it's just getting them to like to read. I don't know. I can see both sides though, right? You're putting them in front of almost a TV screen and say read.
The reading on the iPad thing, fine. I can see that stuff. I guess what I'm just curious about is the mandate from the school that they have to do that. Like you have to get in front of a screen to read this book so that we can get this like data back.
Yeah.
Which is, part of it's okay. That's interesting. You're using technology to better the kids' education. Okay. But I just had no idea. That's wild. Like I remember there was a time when, God, man, I actually used a typewriter to submit something.
What? How old are you?
I'm not that old, but
me.
At the time, it's just like computers were still.
Yeah.
There was mass adoption of them for sure, but it just was not a guarantee that every family had one, right?
Or a printer, even. Like you would not. You would have to bring it to the library on a floppy or something, and.
Yeah, so there was just this weird transition at that time where it's like, well, we kind of want to have everybody just submit it digital or like typed, but we can't quite yet guarantee that everybody's got a computer. Which now is I think it's like a given. Like it's like you have a computer. You must have a computer.
Well, if not, you're doing it on mom's smartphone. You're just like that's your computer now.
Or a typewriter.
Yeah, or a typewriter. Go for it. Yeah.
That sound will mean nothing to so many people soon.
No, I know, and it's funny that you say that because they have no idea.
But I digress. I want to get to your Switch story. I am utterly fascinated by this.
Yeah, so on Switch, released just last week, was WarFrame. And I think we've briefly talked about it before, but WarFrame free-to-play shooter that's available on all consoles and now coming to the Switch. We tried it out on PS4. It was cool. I didn't really dig into it too much. Like I kind of moved on to the next game. Like it was a good taste of what it was. And then just kind of moved on. And on the Switch, it brought me back. And I'm like, it's so much easier to pick up and play. Just like I can pick up and play on my couch while, my wife's watching TV or Netflix or whatever. I can walk around. I can go outside, watch the kids, and I'm playing WarFrame online with other people in like a drop-in, drop-out manner. And I've played more hours on the Switch than I have on my PS4 version.
Man.
Just first week alone, it's really easy to get into. It's just something that's, I think, the perfect medium for that type of game. As long as you're not like with a squad and have like frequent dropouts in your Wi-Fi, you're good. You just go in and play.
So remember, the response on the PS4 was a little bit lukewarm for us. I think I liked it a little bit more, but I was already kind of into Destiny. But you especially was a little bit lukewarm. But now this new form factor somehow it's kind of just like sunk its talents, and you're just finding you're enjoying the game too. Like you want to keep playing it. Like, are you going to go back?
Yeah, like I guess on the PS4 version, I played like a match, got out, and I was like, yeah, okay, like I guess I'll play one. On the Switch, I don't know. I was on it for like an hour and a half, no problem, easy, and
Wow.
I had to like put it down myself, and it was just something that was just a different experience. I mean, there are a little bit of like the graphics on it are, I don't want to say they're on par with the PS4, but there's very little difference. So it looks great. The only drawback would be the text size is ridiculously small on some of the stat cards and stuff that you have to kind of put in.
Yeah.
But then again, the screen is like, it could be 2 inches from your face if you wanted it to be. But it is a little cramped at times. And then if that's the case, I guess you could dock it. But then I'm back to PS4 where I'm sitting in front of a TV. So I think it does work. And I think it has some legs on me, which is good. I don't know. It's kind of a neat experience. I'm waiting to create a Nintendo squad and go out.
Nintendo
Get
Squad,
your Switch and we'll play some WarFrame.
Well, I mean, that's what's wild too is their commitment to the price point. Like, it's free. Like, that whole
I don't
damn
get that.
game is free. It's amazing.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
Dad
you
price
need to grind to
approved.
get some. You need to grind to get some stuff, but I don't know how you make this free. And it's got a heck of a lot of content in there. There's so much to consume. So
Yeah, I think
kudos.
like this thing's definitely going to be on the list this year for like Gaming Dad games of the year for sure. Just because like like how impressive this thing has been.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's something if you like the experience on the PS4 or didn't, I encourage you to try it on the Switch if you do have it. Again, free, jump in and just see how it is. And I think you'll be hooked. It's so much easier. I don't know why.
So I know that there's like swords, for instance. Now, do you get to use the nunchucks as swords and swing around?
Oh, I haven't tried the motion controls. That would be insane. There are motion control aiming, which I find fantastic. So instead of
What do
bringing
you
your
mean?
controller, you can tilt the screen. Like I have it in like a portable mode. So you tilt it and the gyroscope aims it, which is like precision, which is
Holy
amazing.
hell, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
That's
intuitive.
crazy.
It doesn't sound like it, but when you're running along,
like,
and you
is it
tilt-
just is it for minute changes, or is it like that's the main way you aim? Like
You can do it-
only
you
like
can
when
do
you're.
Well, a little both. Like you can do, like you can make the controller aim for you, and then kind of precision control it, or you can make that your main aim control. So when you're flying through, you just turn the screen and fire.
Man, that's
It doesn't
awesome.
have to be a lot. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. It was kind of interactive. Like maybe when you're like lying back on the couch, you don't want to be doing that. You could switch it off, not a problem. But I found it very helpful to get like those nice long shots because I selected
Yeah.
a Volt or whatever the guy with the arrows is, and he's very precision based.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just firing them off, no problem.
And okay, now do you think the arrow? Now I love the bow and arrow part. Like, I'm a sucker for any game that has bow and arrows.
Yep.
Now, do you think that played into it at all? Like maybe it was just like a different class you tried that kind of clicked.
Could
Or
be.
it's-
It could be. I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so. It's the Switch. That's amazing.
I really do think it's the Switch. Just the form factor alone is just, it's comfortable. I don't know. I could be sitting there and just throwing Warframe. Whatever.
Damn.
Not a
Man,
problem.
so if I don't get a Switch for Mario Kart alone, it'd have to be so we can get running on
That's right. We have to create our squad, Trevor. Come on.
Nintendo Squad rollout. We'll have to see. And it's great to see like the light bulb just switch on in your head for
Yep.
Warframe.
He does.
With that, let's go ahead and transfer over to the Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. Each week we feature an exceptional gaming dad and often their kids who are doing fatherhood and gaming so well. This week's victory goes to Gaming Dad Wu-Tang, who made a big impact for his son by introducing him to a little gaming place he knows. So Jeff, why don't you walk us through the post?
So this post is actually a little video of what looks like a diorama, but it's actually these little tiny video games set up in this handmade arcade. So you have this little diorama of an arcade place with these little tiny games of Cubert and Joust and I think Centipede. And they're just little tiny consoles, and he's made it for his son to kind of introduce them into, I guess, a retro gaming of what we had to do as kids, where you go pop quarters into a machine and you don't go online. So talk about portability and mobility. Here you go.
And I just like the quality of the build too. So the walls are decorated with full-on decorations, like Games On New Retro.
Yeah,
this is the name of the bar. There's a light fixture coming down from the roof. Looks like tiles are up there. So it's just like, it is this gorgeous little setup with 3 like really fun little games. Like those are really great games to get into, certainly, and especially as an introduction to your kid. From retro gaming.
And they work. Like they're little retro consoles that work.
Yeah, like everyone will have to check out the video that we'll release of this afterwards. But like, he's showing it up. He's playing like the three of the systems, going through them. Now, I wonder if like he'll charge his kid quarters to play some.
There you go. That's how you make money on this thing.
A little bit of dad tax. At least the kid's friends. See, now the kid can perhaps charge his friends a couple quarters to come and play this. But
that's right. You need the real experience. You need to pop in money for this. Come on.
Man. There's something about these dads that put in the extra effort around. It's not just let's play games, which is always fantastic, of course. But that little bit of wonder, that little bit of like magic around an imagination, like this is a tiny arcade for the son, like play it, here's the aesthetic, here's the lighting, here's the tiny little machines, like it, taking it to the extra level. It's always so fantastic to see. Like what an amazing victory for this week.
Yeah, kudos.
Man, so for showing his son that no game is too small to enjoy, Gaming Dad Wu-Tang has won this week's Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. Congratulations. If you have a story you'd like to feature for the Gaming Dad Victory of the Week, send it along to us on our Facebook group or on our website at newdadgaming.com.
And new dads, listen up as we go over this week's highlights and what happened in the world of gaming. Do you remember way back in 2009? Maybe you had less kids or even no kids. Well, it was the year that Rockstar announced The Agent, a stealth action game set in what looked like a 1970s Cold War environment. Over the years, the trademark had been renewed and re-rolled, giving hope to gamers that some new details might be announced, but alas, here we are today. Rockstar has officially not renewed The Agent, so we will see no more of The Agent. The Agent is dead, but I'm sure Rockstar will shed those tears after its billion-dollar blockbusters like Grand Theft Auto and the more recent Red Dead Redemption 2. But there's still hope that they will expand their repertoire of games in the future, maybe a Bully remake. We shall see. But in speaking of Rockstar and Red Dead Redemption 2, their online multiplayer for Red Dead is set to launch this week. And the rollout includes the buyers of the Ultimate Edition get to go first, and then it goes to the rest of us over the coming week. The multiplayer component will allow players to go online solo or with a gang of up to 7 people, roaming the countryside, talking to NPCs, getting missions, or even going hunting together. Expect a lot of chaos, though, as this is the beta version, and I'm sure these servers won't stand the pounding of everybody all at once. And there's been no word of any online microtransactions, but with the success of Shark Cards in GTA, you can expect some sort of in-game purchases to spruce up your saddle. And have you watched the Skyrim playing grandma? Well, Shirley Curry has been playing Skyrim for the last couple of years and has been uploading them to YouTube. Her following has grown substantially, with subscribers, or her grandkids as she refers to them, nearing the 450,000 mark. Well, now there's a petition calling Bethesda to create a character in her honor for the next Elder Scrolls 6. Fans are worried that the next iteration is still years and years away, and Miss Curry is not really young, as she clocks in at 82 years old and likely won't see the next installment. So what better way to honor the community than a kick-ass grandma that you meet along the way in Elder Scrolls 6? Modders are already starting to gather lines of dialogue to build a character for Skyrim in hopes to inspire Bethesda to officially follow suit. In the meantime, check in on Grandma Shirley Curry on YouTube and maybe call your own grandparents to see if they have their own secret channel. And if you haven't heard, Nintendo is busy hunting down leaked copies of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that has apparently been dumped online by pirates. The game is set to officially release December 7th, so a leak this early can really affect the sales and also ruin the single-player story experience with plot reveals, secret characters, and stages being strewn about on the internet. Although the sales of Smash will no doubt be one of the most successful games for the Switch, with pre-orders beating out any prior expectations, it's something that Nintendo will learn and probably not release any more games to journalists or YouTube game reviewers for fear of another leak. So, for the next little while, if you are interested in Smash, I'd be wary of any comment section or just wary of the internet in general until you have a chance to sit, play, and beat Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As for game releases this week, some quick highlights include Darksiders 3 and Ride 3 for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One, and a couple for the Switch, including This War of Mine Complete Edition and Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures. That's it for the gaming news this week. Catch a nap and tune in next week for another update.
So what is your take, as our resident dad who plays Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
So what is your thoughts on with online, coming online very shortly? Now, it shouldn't, that should, let's set the table.
Yep.
The single-player game is complete and fantastic.
Yes.
And you've enjoyed it. It's deep. It's great, right? So in many ways, this has no impact on you, right?
Yes, correct.
I don't think rogue cowboys won't show up in your game if you don't want it, right?
No, not like Demon Souls or anything. But I hated Grand Theft Auto Online so much. It's an interesting concept when they first released it, but it was slow to load. People were kind of not the greatest online. So I don't know how Red Dead 2 will happen. Again, you don't have to touch it if you don't like it, so it's fine that they release it. Maybe it's going to be this awesome thing, but I'm just glad that it's not integrated into the single player where you have to go online to beat a certain mission or whatever, or the world changes because of online or something like that. Single player is all complete, we're good. I don't know about online. It just seems like there's going to be a pay-to-win thing. You're going to have people riding around robbing you, and I just want to be chill.
I'll make a call out to gaming dads listening if they could write in with their experiences. Because the one thing that bothers me a little bit is that you and I are not heavy online players.
Yes, true.
Which I think is a little bit because of our upbringing as far as how we came up in gaming and where we are now. But it's also, unique to us. So since we don't have a heavy online dad,
right?
It's like, perhaps for other people, this is fantastic. The idea of I have a posse online that I always play games with. I cannot wait to get together with them, and we'll form a roving band of misfit cowboys, and we're going to go cause trouble in every town. You know what I mean? I think there could be something there as far as just an open server and hooray, there's here's Gangster Buster 88.5 and he's swearing a whole lot, and here's a 12-year-old and here's
That's true. You make a good point. If you have a group of friends you always go online with, this is something to kind of carry that single player experience into the multiplayer, and you guys just do whatever you do online and roam the country again together. Yeah. Which could be a neat experience. Even just the hunting aspect, that would be kind of cool to set up traps there's legendary animals in the game, so you have bears and alligators and stuff, so maybe conquering those with friends. Yeah, totally. I just don't know how many people are in the world with you, because I remember GTA Online, and you could start a car and somebody's put a bomb in there and it just blows up immediately on. You can't do that in horses, but who knows? They set up a trap.
Sure you can.
That's going to be me. That's going to be me.
As soon as you kick the saddle, it sets the dynamite off and you just go fly.
That's it. It's going to be me. Thanks.
No, I guess what's great to see, though, still is I think everyone now is very wary. Microtransactions, online play, it's a very weird time for that stuff. But what's great is it's icing, or it's the second lousy meal that you don't have to eat because the core, it was so good. Unlike the Battlefront debacle. Yes. This core experience was just utterly fantastic. Everybody's satiated. Great job. Thank you for this. and now you're going to try some online stuff, and maybe you're going to do microtransactions over there.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Off you go. Yeah. You bought your full price game. You got a full game, and now they're going to kind of muck around with the edges. Yeah. Off you go.
You go to it. That's
do you.
It's fine. Just don't integrate them together, because there's people out here that like their single player.
Yeah. It's just, again, like if I hear that there is microtransactions now, it's great. You can totally do that, and some people will be into it. Yeah. As long as you're relatively ethical about it and it's not awful gambling things that Belgium's going to get you in trouble for. But it still, for me, becomes one of the happier stories. It was really, I can remember how scared we were when they first talked about it, because given how popular GTA 5 Online was, is this going to sully this whole game? But no.
It's like you said, go do you. You do you. It's online. Don't touch my single player. I'm good. Don't load one and then try to load the other. I don't want to be loaded into multiplayer before I have to get out.
Well, see, the key to your heart, though, is they just have to release it on Switch, and then apparently you'll love it up. You're ready for online.
I'm down for that.
As long as it's on Switch, you're fine.
Yeah, perfect.
But it's the Skyrim grandma.
Yeah,
we've mentioned her a few times on the show.
Yeah,
she's an absolute dear. It's like one of the most wholesome gaming things to come out in quite some time. Just a sweet old grandma having a fine old time in Skyrim. Come on, you have to put her in the next game.
I would totally agree with you. Some sort of, people are saying there's an actual character, NPC, or follower that's named after her or is her. But even just a character in town or something that...
Little nod. Come on, there's gonna at least an NPC with a couple quests. If it's a follow character, super cool.
Yeah,
I think the part of the story I didn't like is it's like, oh well, who knows when the game's gonna come out? I don't think it's that. Is it really? I don't think it's 6 years out now. Is it?
Well, I don't know, because they said they haven't really started it. Because Starfield is the next one. Starfield, is that next? The space one. They want to do that space one. And then they showed a preview of Elder Scrolls 6, but it was really just the CG overworld. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. One can
still,
hope it's
she's
closer.
82. I mean, it's just 6 years isn't you want to be careful with time, but it's not to say
no, but
it's guaranteed. It's well, she's not going to make that. You don't know that.
Don't
Modern
know.
medicine.
Don't know. Hopefully she does, and then she can see herself in the game. Just play it safe, Bethesda.
I'm loving the rise of gaming grandpas, though.
Yes.
There's some really cool threads online where it's just there was a grandpa playing through a game, Spec Ops: The Lines or Call of Duty or something.
Oh yeah.
And he had these written correspondence with his grandkid. It's so we have continued through the game and made it to this part here. I found this part a little difficult, but we were able to get and hear the old timey correspondence as this guy's playing a game. It's oh, this is so fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing for us because it's future proofing this. That's our pension right there. It's grandpas.
Being a absolute gamer and having all the time and resources of a retiree.
Oh, can you imagine?
Man, I don't want to rush my life so that let's not punt me up till my 60s. I will say that looks real nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I'm talking that's teenager time, right? The amount of hours you could probably put into it. Damn.
Absolutely. Instead of staying up all night, you just stay up all 5 a.m. to noon.
Yeah.
You get your gaming in, then you go to breakfast.
You go off to McDonald's for your coffee with the other old people. Rant about video games and a
little dance class in the afternoon. You're good. Back
jazzercise, sure.
Yeah.
No, you won't need it because you can just do Just Dance.
That's right. Even better. Yeah, this all planned out. I like it.
Senior version. Oh yeah. I think of nothing else. Now the Smash link or the leak that had happened.
Yes.
Sad to see it. It's kind of funny. I had a weird reaction with that because, as I mentioned at the top, so I'm looking at games I'm resisting the urge to buy a Nintendo so I can
Oh yeah.
play. So the natural kind of curiosity arises, like, all right, what is available for emulators?
Oh,
Right?
okay.
And I didn't think, even if I went with like an SNES Classic, I didn't quite think bringing him back to sprites would be quite as engaging as opposed to 3D characters, because the shows he watches like Chase and like Paw Patrol, like it's all 3D stuff. So I think there's that connection. So I thought it'd have to be a 3D game. So I looked into it. So there is the Dolphin emulator.
Yes.
And it looks like it's fairly seamless. But I paused on it. I don't know, for some reason it just feels a little bit dirtier when it's Nintendo, because they're doing such great stuff, and like you're sullying this great. I guess in general, like I really don't like stealing games.
No,
like I when I in my younger days, there's some instances of perhaps movies or music or that type of thing, but something about games just feels, and especially a Nintendo emulator.
Yeah, I know what you
like
mean.
Dirty.
I remember doing it to games that I didn't know if they would work, because there's no demos anymore, or there's low end demos. So I didn't know if it would work, and they would never give me the proper requirements of my computer or whatever. So I'd download it, see if it worked, and then I would go buy it. But so to do it to a whole like brand like Nintendo, where it's like, they go through all this quality control and make sure that everything works with the gamepad properly and the experience is like full, and then you're like fiddling with an emulator that like glitches through a wall, and you're like, oh, this is not the same. Yeah,
that was the other thing too. So like, firstly, there's just the bit of a moral quandary as far as Nintendo specifically, and everything that they're doing such different, unique work, and so amazingly family friendly, and you're stealing that stuff. It's for some reason in particular. Not that I feel great again, and just I think games in general, I just have some sort of aversion to anything around that. But then also, as you mentioned, it's the setup, it's the configuration, it's what if it's not exactly plays perfectly, like clipping through walls. It's like I don't want to sully this experience with this nonsense, man.
No, and I get you, because I after finishing Breath of the Wild, I want Wind Waker, but there's no Wind Waker available, and it's only for Wii U. I'm like, just give me Wind Waker now.
Well, I think
my
I wonder
Switch.
if GameCube's probably your jam, right? Because GameCube would be just like it's on the cusp of starting to become a collector's item, so you could probably sneak in a GameCube pretty cheaply. Yeah. Keep an eye on those garage sales and everything else.
I know, and I totally need another system.
Yeah, of course.
Totally.
Well, I mean, like that's just like it's just a Hall of Fame at that point, right? Like that's just a wall that has the old consoles.
That's right. You just need to show where you came from to where you are now.
And as we discussed, like you bring your kid up from Nintendo and you bring them step by step. The PS1, you have them play a few of those.
Yeah, the full experience. Come on.
It's a gaming education, darn it.
I'm with
you. See, that'll be it. And then it connects to his teacher's course online. You see how many PS1 games he's played. Like, you haven't quite finished Metal Gear. Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, you're only in disc 2. Where is Sephiroth? Come on.
Discs. Oh, man. There's some things from the past that should stay in the past.
You remember that, though? It was amazing. Especially when you had to, like, hop in and out of, like, a certain world, and it was like, load disc 1 again, and you're like, oh, come on.
Or when you get a game and it's like 4 discs, like, oh man, look at all this content. This is gonna be good.
Yep.
Money's never worth. Again. Now it's just an 80 gig patch.
We'll patch in the story later. Don't worry about it.
Now it's just the entirety of your internet bandwidth for the month. One game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh, but I think that's enough of us taking up bandwidth for the week. So let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to us with a question, a game tip, a dad story, much like the ones you've heard today, or a Gaming Dad Victory submission, you can find us at our website at newdadgaming.com. Find us on Twitter, or come and join the Facebook group. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and any of the other podcasting services. If you like the show, we would really appreciate a like, a review, or a share. We're trying to get out there and connect with as many gaming dads as we can. Then Jeff needs some people he can play Warframe with on
That's
Switch.
right. Squad up. Let's go.
Gaming Dad Squad, let's go. Until next time, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
All right, we'll see you next week.
See you in Warframe.
Yes. As soon as my Switch arrives, pal. Off we go.